All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it, and we're going to go ahead and go into item number 4, and this is citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the City Council on any issue or any item on the agenda in compliance with LGC Section 551.007. City Council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General Opinion, JC 0169. So we have somebody signed up to speak. Tom, were you speaking in the citizens to be heard, or is it an action item?
Oh, no, I said my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, I'll still go ahead and say it. Nobody signed up, but I still want to invite anything besides what's in as an action item. Anybody would like to speak? Citizens to be heard? Going once. Going twice. All right. Go ahead, Paula. Go ahead. No comments. And citizens to be heard. And let's go ahead and move on, Council, to item number 5. This is consent agenda. Consider the approval of the minutes and take a look at August the 7th, 2025 special meeting and August the 11th, 2025.
Mayor, I'd like to start by making a motion to approve both meeting minutes as presented for August the 7th, 2025 special meeting and August the 11th, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
You got a second? Thank you. Any discussion?
One little correction. I believe it's on the second minutes.
Okay.
I made an announcement about the Battle Medina symposium, and you have it down as Lemon School. It should be Lemming, L-E-M-I-N-G.
Lemming. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Council, anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. Thank you, Council. Let's go ahead and move on to B. Consider approval of the payment of the bills.
Mayor, I'd like to start by making a motion to approve the payment of the bills as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. Motion carries forward. Thank you, Council. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 6 in the open session. This is take action on the items discussed. A, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2541, the resolution of City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and Cobb Finley Associates for the task order number 2 regarding engineering work associated with the design of an emergency interconnect with East Medina Special Utility District, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and provide an effective date.
Mayor and Council, as the caption indicated, this is just a task order with Cobb Finley and Associates, one of our engineers. We've been working with them on identification of a proper location to install a interconnect with East Medina, and they've now presented us with kind of moving forward on that process and the task order associated with the amount to go ahead and move forward with that design. Included in the cost is also a construction admin and inspection portion that would be billed on an hourly rate, not to exceed the $4,000 as indicated in their task order, and then the hourly rates are indicated at the bottom of their task order as well. This may or may not be needed. We do use AG3 for some of those inspection services of a civil nature, but they wanted to put that in there just in case if we needed to use that service with them. So this again is just a pass-through. This would be the costs associated with it we could take from our impact fees, and so that's what that account is listed on there, covering the costs. So,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 25-41 as presented, effective today's date, which is the 25th of August, 2025.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
Second that, Mayor.
Got a second? Okay, further discussion. Anything on that? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate council support on this. We're just taking care of what we needed to do from the previous interconnect that we had with another water. So getting it all lined up correctly. So this is going to be good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to B, consideration and possible action concerning approving the City of Lytle Annual Awards Committee Chairperson and committee members.
So, Austin, in the past, this was two different items. However, it's combined in this agenda. Do we need to make two separate motions, or can it be combined? The first one is going to be for the chairperson, and the second would be to approve the committee itself.
We did combine them last year, TA.
No, we had them two separate.
I looked back at the agenda, it was combined.
Okay, well, they should be separated because they're actually two actions. One's going to be appointed by the mayor, and then the other one's going to be appointed by the committee.
Yeah, we just do them as separate motions. You
So it can be
one
combined?
motion on an item.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then in my presentation, I'll go ahead and do a combination of the two. Okay, so the City of Lytle Citizenship Award Committee is comprised of the 5 Lytle residents selected by the City Council and one additional person by the mayor. Mayor, do you have a choice for chairperson?
I do not at this portion. Oh, no, I do. I would advise if we could actually have Alderman Rodriguez be the chairperson.
And then the 5 committee members currently, we have Eva De Leon, she'll be representing District 1. Cecilia Gutierrez, she'll be representing District 2. Tiffany Perez will be representing District 3. And Diana Hernandez Casillas will be representing District 4, and District 5 is currently open. So those are the 4 that I currently have for this item.
We'll take care of it for next meeting. We'll be okay. We'll work with that.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really only an issue if y'all had a difference of opinion on things, but if you want to take a single motion.
Cover everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was his motion. I'll second it.
Well, I made the presentation being the chairperson. I would like to see if somebody else could actually make the initial motion.
To approve the nominations as presented.
I make a motion to approve the nominations for the Citizenship Award as presented by Councilman Rodriguez.
Okay. Got a first. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? All yeas. Thank you. Appreciate it. And for the folks that have volunteered on that, thank you so much for stepping up and helping us out with that. That's awesome. All right. I know it's going to get busier. I think we're shooting October.
October will be the time when the actual nomination forms will go out. They'll be submitted into the utility building, and they'll also be available at the City Hall and throughout the city. We're going to try to put them out there as well. And each person that gets nominated for either the Annual Citizenship Award or the youth group or honorable mention, any one of those categories, if a person's going to be nominated for more than one category, an additional form would be required for each category that they're being nominated. At the end of October, then the committee will meet. We'll get the voting in and decide which recipients are going to be. We'll present it to the council in November, and then the December first meeting of December is when we'll make the actual recognition.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for the quick wrap up. It just shows you how important with the folks that we selected today. They got a big job.
Yes.
To be able to do that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to move on to C, discussion and update concerning activities of the Lytle Chamber of Commerce, including information related to the operations of the shops of Lytle. All right, Catherine, come on up.
Good evening, Council. I am back before you again to share updates with you on the Chamber and most importantly about the shops of Lytle. Sorry. So, in agreement with the city, we have we have an agreement where the city pays half of our expenses. And last year, I have a breakdown of what the money went to, as well as what was reimbursed to the shops of Lytle by the city. Which would you like first?
Do you have the handout? Whichever you'd like to start with, or something to present so they can actually have a visual.
Or I can make copies real quick if you don't have enough.
If you want to do it.
That way they can see.
Yes, I
'Cause I
think it
don't
would be
have-
good. Let's go ahead and make some copies for the council.
Just this one or all that?
Because I don't have all the reimbursement forms. This is all I have.
Well, let's do it all.
Did you actually have the agreement?
Yes.
You want a copy of the agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get the copies of that. So while we're waiting for that, I did get a chance. Yes.
I was just going to say, y'all can continue with this item, or if you want to go to D and come back to this while we're doing that, that's fine, however y'all want to do it.
The only thing is the next one, then Zach needs to be in here for this, so he's making copies, so I'm with you. So I'll just tell the council, so this weekend I had a chance to go over and visit that area, just get familiarized, see how the things are. Good vendors in there, without a doubt. They actually have a good products, different things that they actually provide. People will be able to buy for gifts and stuff. They have a new vendor that came on. I thought it was pretty timely with Halloween being right around the corner. And it's a gentleman that has another part-time job or another job here in Lytle, and he does this on the side, and it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. The prices were very reasonable on the different Halloween decorations that they have available, and that was pretty good. And I think it was Connie that was working this weekend.
Yes.
So Connie was doing a great job too. Very talkative. We had some customers that came in during the time I was there, guiding the conversation, everything that they needed to not only understand there, but also if they had any questions, especially with that one couple that stopped by and they wanted to come by. Also had the chance to go over into the antique store, which is attached to that, and I tell you what, they got some pretty cool stuff over there. Yeah, that was pretty good. Got a lot of attention. They have this lamp. It's kind of like a full person lamp. It was really unique lamp and stuff. And
the lady that's holding her hand up.
yeah, and so I posted it out there, and it's been the one that's gotten a lot of attention. It's really interesting how that actually works out and stuff. But a lot of stuff happening over there. If you haven't had a chance, please stop by, because there's a lot of different things that are available.
Can I ask that a question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You have a gym over there, right?
There is a gym. It is not part of the shops. It is a standalone business
Okay.
that rents from Victoria, who is the owner of the building in which the shops are in. But yes, there is a gym, and I hear really good things about them. Their hours, unfortunately, don't work with mine, so I haven't been able to go in and actually have like a class or anything. But they do. There's a sign over there with their hours, and I hear CrossFit and a few other
I saw through the door that they had some rents.
a few other classes that they offer. So yes.
Different things that they have. Zach is still taking care
They
of
Yeah, they're all.
All right. And pass it down. Here we go. And here we go. And perfect.
And the agreement's still coming.
Okay, so we can go ahead and get started with the first one. If you want to cover,
So
I want to cover the first one where it has. We're looking at
reimbursements.
yes.
So there are question marks by 4 months because unfortunately I wasn't able to obtain those months in terms of the breakdowns, which I have for the other months. But for January, the city reimbursed the shops of Lytle for $1,409.56. In February, it was $1,444.58. March was $1,319.52. April was $1,241.52. May was $1,164.52. June was $1,273.89. July was $1,519.44. August was $1,601.10. September was $1,729.10. October was $1,625.17. November was $1,525.54. And December was $1,560.55. For a total for 2024 was $17,414.49. Now, in that time frame, I do have some. If you wanted to ask what that went to, it would be listed in those reimbursement forms, and it went towards rent, our phone, QuickBooks that helps us with our invoices, supplies, repairs, an IRS payment, and the biggest thing is probably the rent and the payroll. So our rent for January through June was $1,770 a month. In July through December was $1,823 a month, for a total for the year of $21,558. Our phone through AT&T in February was $149.62. For June through September, and again, I apologize, I don't have January, March, April, or May to account for those months. So I am giving you the information that I do have available to me at this point. June through September.
You can just do a summary. You don't have to go line by line.
Okay.
I think the important thing for the council to have is just to have the overall. You provided some reimbursement forms that are in there. I know there was some other ones because the only way that you got reimbursed is they had to be turned in, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so there was some that were actually turned in. Pam, did you have any of those copies for some of those months?
Yes, sir. They were in the packet, but I don't know where they are now.
Okay. So,
I'll get them to you.
okay. So basically, the list that we have in front of us, those are all the payments that actually occurred. So there was a reimbursement form that was turned into the city.
Correct.
Which is something that we, in the past council, we were asking, see if there was some way to be able to track it. So they provided some of those that go along with that. So this is what we have. There was some clarification because we thought that there was some sort of reimbursement for budget purposes for 35, which is not the case.
No.
So it's 17. 18, we rounded it off on the new budget in there. So this is kind of gives you a ballpark figure when you look at it in the sense of where we should be in the sense of the reimbursement that goes along with that. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah, and I think part of the 35, if you actually look at the original agreement, it references that 35,000, and so that's where I think that probably originally is why the budget reflected the way it did. But obviously we've gone in this year and changed that accordingly. And before she gets into the agreement or anything like that, this is just a copy that I have that Yvonne and I started writing on, and so that's where you'll see some of those notes. So it's not just want to clarify what some of those notes are, us going through it and looking at some of those things before we meet with them. So, yeah.
Do that.
Okay, so the next information I'd like to give is our visitors for April, May, June, and July. So we, at one point, were not calculating the amount of packages that came in or came out through UPS. We did start tracking those in May. So in April, we did have 258 visitors that came into the shops of Lytle, whether it be to shop or receive information through the information center. In May, we had 241 visitors, and when it came to UPS, we sent out or took in packages. It was 157. In June, we had 269 visitors, and we did again 157 packages. In July, we had 237 visitors, And the packages through UPS in and out was 170. So UPS is actually really beneficial to the community through the Shops of Lytle, because I know personally, I don't have to go to San Antonio anymore. I don't have to go to Pleasanton, Jourdanton to send a package, and it really helps to have it as a central location there in the Shops of Lytle. We have had 6 vendors that are currently with us that have been with us for 2 years. That is a very long time, because we have to honor those that are consistent and loyal to us. And those 6 vendors are very much appreciated when they come in and they swap out either their items and update what they're selling, or when they just come and restock because they've had so many sales. So the vendors that we do have are currently from Jourdanton, Natalia, Devine, and Lytle. And we have 4 people that work for the shops. We have Connie, Ashley, Lily, who are the only paid clerks right now, paid employees. And then Pam does help run the shops, but she donates her time to help offset the other hours. Okay, so do you have any other questions about the Shops of Lytle right now?
The only thing, I think if we can, and I know Pam, you're with collecting some of the data and working with them, I would ask is if possible when we get the listing of the visitors, maybe get a listing of which visitors they were coming directly and asking about the city. I know you guys do a really good job, because I saw Connie, like I said, they were talking to that one couple. They come in and they were answering their questions about the products, but at the same time, hey, would you like to know anything about Lytle, because they weren't from Lytle. So that's great. But it's good to capture the ones that we actually are dealing more with the information portion, the information center portion, to be able to put it in there and be able to break it up. Okay? So see if we can collect that. I love the guest book that you guys have. I think that's really neat. A lot of positive comments from people. I mean, they're from everywhere. They come from everywhere. And when I say everywhere, you got people from the East Coast, West Coast, from everywhere. That they come over and they sign your guest book that you have on there. But that's just for the council purposes, see if we can actually collect that and be able to present that. And I know we talked about maybe on a quarterly basis, see if maybe we can get better, timely. So on a quarterly basis, get scheduled with Zach so we can go ahead and present the information to council, and we can just look at that quarter, just look at the numbers for that quarter, and then where the money was used also with that. You guys have always had this. I'm glad that you had it, but you've always had the information. The only thing I ask is, once again, take this sheet and consolidate it. I like that you guys have the overall sheet that goes along with that. This one right here, that has every month. But for the council, it'd be good to have a consolidated one for the quarter, and it has the totals that go along with that. So between this and this, I think these two would be good, just getting a little bit more in depth. This would be good for the council to be able to do that. But they also had a question about an agreement, so I want to open it up for the council. Any questions about the agreement that we need to address?
Yeah, so let's get started here. So back in 2022, the initial agreement was for the city of Lytle to have a joint venture with the Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
In having a visitor center.
Correct.
When I look at the billing, you're talking about QuickBooks, you're talking about keeping the lights on. That should not be part of where this money's coming from, because we're using hot money. Okay, that should be directly based on bringing in, people in beds, right? It's actually tourists coming in. So my understanding was that initially we were going to have one person that was going to be salaried, and we were going to help pay for that. And then I requested that we be informed on how that person was going to fulfill that position as the visitors center, right? how they were going to man it and how the money was going to be spent on that particular item. Okay? In no way, just pure transparency, in no way do I want to make this insinuate that we're giving money to the shops of Lytle. Because we have a lot of business throughout Lytle, and for the city to give money for adventures such as the shops of Lytle to stay in business or to help them out, we can't do that. The initial agreement was for the visitor center. So when like I said, when I see these buildings, I keep seeing that it was paying for, QuickBooks and, office paper. Well, if that was required for the visitor center, I can understand that. So it needs to be better organized on how the money is being spent. Because if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Zachary, hot money has to deal with visitors and bringing visitors to life.
Okay, so let me bring it to the council's attention. When the original person on the contract, on the agreement, made that agreement, he did not inform anybody else as to all of these specifics. And then we went 1 month, he was in as president, and the next month he was gone. Without handing over any notes, without handing over any information to us, without giving us a breakdown of what the council or the mayor asked of us at that point. We were simply going based off of how we could interpret what he was doing without any information. Up until a couple of months ago, I didn't even have an agreement. He took it with him, and he did not share it with anybody else. And I'm not trying to place blame. I am just stating that we were doing the best that we could under the understanding of what we had, the information that was given prior to him leaving. And we are doing our best. We are I don't want to say, we're not revamping the chamber. We are reorganizing. We are creating a better future for both the organization as well as that information center, because now we have more information about what was expected of us when it was originally agreed upon. So when you have one messenger that doesn't actually pass on the messages, it makes it truly hard and difficult for us to work and move forward without a true understanding. And I do apologize for misunderstanding what was presented to us before.
And I can accept that, and I agree with what you said, because when we initially looked at this, Mr. Emery was the one that made the motion, and I seconded it. And we had one nay, but it was very ballpark. We had an understanding of where the money was going to be used, but we needed detail. And then you know as well as I do that the next year we didn't get the information and so forth, right? Yeah. So I think to move forward there, we need to make sure we're focusing on the visitor aspect of this. Okay, and then in no way is this money, and we've already had conversations about it, and it's agreed, the money is not going to the shops of Lytle. Okay, and I want to make that clear. So if anybody's listening and why is the city giving money to the Chamber of Commerce for businesses, we're not doing that. This money is earmarked for the visitor center and anything that pertains to that particular topic, right?
It's the uniqueness, and that's where the agreement comes into play. It is through the shops of Lytle, where yes, we actually have the person there, and we're supposed to be paying half of the salary, and we do pay half of the supplies. Right.
And that was very well explained in the last meeting we had, that the shops of Lytle is just simply where it's being channeled through, right? They're doing the actual paperwork and everything. So I just want to make it clear, because when you submit these bills, you're including software, you're including items to keep the lights on for the shops. And that's not, I may be reading it wrong, but that's not the intent of, as far as I'm concerned, of the council and what we intended for this money to be used for.
So I do believe that the agreement that I have read is very vague in a lot of the information that's in there, and I'm hoping to sit down and make it very specific.
And I'm willing to work with you and getting this ironed out, and I'm pretty sure the council feels the same way, but we want to help. We want to make sure visitors come, and I think the term was heads in beds. When you use hot money, it has to be primarily for that purpose.
Of course. No, I understand.
And the Chamber of Commerce, they're trying to bring in, revenue as well.
Yes. So I can truthfully say that I have helped people when it comes to information on, are there any vacancies in buildings where they can open their business? What's a local restaurant that you would recommend?
Yeah.
Or who can I call for landscaping? Who can I call for auto repairs? And that is, in my opinion, part of the information center. So it is an understanding that, yes, we are to share that type of information, bring people into Lytle, give them a bit of the history as well of Lytle, and to see that they aren't just pushed in a certain way and really guided.
So the next step that we have is basically you're going to go ahead and get with Zach. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, we already talked about it before she started. So,
yes.
I think council and recognizing even as I'm looking through, it's very vague, right? I mean, I agree with I think council on that and Catherine, and so making sure we kind of fine tune that a little bit. And I think at least initially, because while we delve into some of those costs, we normally have those on the bills to be paid, but it may make sense to try to build in something to give you all more detail on those times we're presenting it, so that way ensuring that we are paying for what we originally intended to pay for. So we'll work through those details.
So council, today was about an update. We still have open items that need to be done. What I would ask, if it's okay, we can just go ahead and see if they can present something here, maybe you think within the next month? You think by the end of September?
I think that's
okay. So we'll have that. If you could, the only other thing I would like you to write down is come up with a timetable of which months you're going to come brief the council. Okay, so we have it black and white. This is the month. These are the months that we're going to do on a quarterly basis, so we can go ahead and present.
Okay.
Makes it a little bit easier.
Now, the other thing that I did want to let council know or ask permission for is if they would donate the use of the community center to host a fundraiser for Pirate Santa, which is a program that the chamber puts on to help the citizens of Lytle.
Good. I want you to talk to Zach.
Okay.
Because it's not an action item on here.
Okay.
So that would need to go through the appropriate channels. So if it needs to come to council, then it'll come to council, and there's certain things that the city administrator can take care of.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to stick to what's on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Council, anything? You good?
Good.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. Let's keep it moving on that one, okay? Good job. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to D, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance number 2515, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, adopting the fiscal year 2025-2026 master fee schedule, providing for incorporation of preamble, and providing a repealer, a savings clause, and a severity clause, and setting an effective date. Zach.
All right, Mayor and Council, at the last budget workshop, we worked through the final kind of stage of what the master fee schedule is going to look like. And I know some of our departments have kind of, looking to move forward on some of these. And so being that it's wrapped up, we are going to include it obviously as a part of the budget, but we wanted to get that in front of you now and go ahead and get this approved. So that's why this item is before you.
Okay. Council? Can we get a motion for us to...
Sure. May I would make a motion that we, let me read it here, adopt the fiscal year 2025 through 2026 master fee schedule as presented.
Okay. Second?
With today's, by the way, today's date, August 25th, 2025.
Accept the amendment? Yes. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
So all the items we talked about, they look like they're in...
Yes, everything was incorporated, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. That's good to have this finally on.
And we're going to put it on the web.
Yes, it'll be on the website. It'll be a part of the budget document, and yeah.
That'll be good. All right. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all yeas. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move on to E, discussion and possible action concerning the City of Lytle's 75th anniversary in October 2026, right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So I did ask Josh Walker. I'm sure some of y'all know him from the community here. Unfortunately, he was going to come and he last minute had forgot that his mother's birthday was tonight, so they had planned something. So unfortunately, he had to go take care of that. So, but yeah, this was just meant, in talking with the mayor, I think it'll be here before we know it, right? Just as we indicated, and so we just want to kind of start the conversation of kind of what we're interested in doing around that. Normally October, obviously we don't know for sure, but normally October is when we would have school homecoming, and so trying to work obviously around that. Next year at this time it will be our responsibility again, if we so choose to do the homecoming parade, as it is back on the alumni this year. So working through that, I did print off, and this is something that Josh had provided several months ago. If you just want to pass that around, one copy, sorry. And nothing's set in stone, but some of the ideas that him and I have kind of just, he honestly had come to me originally about talking about an event and sometime next year. And as I kind of started thinking about it, I thought, well, it kind of makes sense to try to work that in with obviously our 75th. And so some of the things that obviously it's a big to do, and so just some suggested events. Obviously nothing set in stone, and kind of what he's looking at. And then the last page is the kind of potential event area. I think we're trying to look at doing something downtown, to really try to help the business community down there, but also promote everything on the 75th. Obviously with something like this, it's a great transition from what we just talked about with the chamber, heads and beds, and trying to use hot money for this purpose. And so I think that's where we would look obviously to kind of help contribute to that, but really just again wanted to start the conversation and figure out what y'all are interested in doing as a council body for that, and what kind of participation we're looking to do. If we are going to do some sort of music around it, we really need to start like booking some of that kind of stuff, because some of these artists book out pretty quick. So if that's something that we're looking to do, then we need to move on that. Music Fest is in March, third week in March, so then it would be a little bit of time, obviously past that this would be.
But we could, if the council wanted to, some of the communities out there, when they celebrate the birthday, it's not just the one, and they do like multiple
events throughout the year. Yeah. So
we could use the Music Fest as a way to kick it off,
Yeah.
and then lead to whatever ends up being in October.
Yeah.
As part of the celebration and everything that goes along with that.
Yeah.
But there's some ideas of different things that we could do on there. I think what he had on here was more on the actual October time frame.
Correct.
It's a consolidation of different items to be able to do in the downtown area. But, we wanted to get ideas from you. Is there anything that pops up in your mind, maybe in other communities that you might have lived or been in other places, that we can pass on to Zach that you thought was pretty neat in the sense of...
Will we have our lights by then?
Baseball lights will be up. Actually, they're delivering them this week. So then they'll start installing them in the next
But I like
weeks.
that LYP thing. That would be something.
Yeah.
Special tournament, and help LYP do, host it.
Actually,
either Little League or
there was discussion, and we need to get everybody together for those discussion at the very end of last year about having the Music Fest, and when you have that second day, that we would actually have games happening on that day before. It's kind of like a lead-in before the season actually
Correct.
gets started.
Correct.
But use the fields and have some sort of activities out there.
Yeah, I think anything's on the table, and again, using Music Fest as kind of that big kickoff to, hey, later in the year we're having something. Obviously, it's a great platform to be able to promote it anyways, since we're moving forward with that. But just wanted to, again, really just start thinking about this and kind of drumming up what we want to do, because again, it will be here before we know it, and things book quite early.
Mayor, have you thought of anything tangent? Sign, statue? We have the one up here in front of Stripes. We have that area right there.
The monument. Yeah.
Something that
What
designates
you did design.
I did do I did throw together, and it's included in the packet, and I'm happy to throw up. I put together some logo.
Oh, in the packet.
Can you put it up there?
Yeah, let me get to it.
Yeah, I have the emblem. Yeah, I mean, something like that even.
Yeah. Zach put this together. We can put it up so everybody in the chambers can see it. So
It's very homegrown. That's what I liked about it.
So something kind of lead us, has a little bit of meaning all the way around. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool to be able to do that. But we get a chance to be able to highlight our community, and this is just one of the ways that we can kind of label it a certain way, and then we can kind of branch off of that. But do you have anything that you can think of? Anything that you feel would be good for us to go ahead and pass on to Zach? Ideas or things that you would like to, as we start the dialogue? Of course, once we come up with a plan, it'll become in front of council for discussion. Take a look at it.
I think the biggest thing is if we are doing some sort of musical, I definitely sooner rather than later need direction on kind of how much council's willing to put behind it. We do have some hot money in the bank, right? That we are, has been sitting there, so. It's for these things that this is what you use it for. I mean, various things like this. So, just want to throw that out there. That's something we would need to come to some sort of understanding on that fairly soon.
Well, I think the Music Fest is something that Lytle's probably become known for, and if we could piggyback off of that, I think that would be great. Because you look at other cities. Like you have Luling, they have the watermelon pump, right? And then Gonzales has come and take it. That's something they do every year.
Yeah.
So if it became their anniversary, special anniversary, then obviously they would add that in there.
Yeah.
So Lytle itself does not have one particular item that we have that's city-based. So, I know the Music Fest is not ours, but I think your idea was a good idea too about the youth program and everything.
Yeah. Be able to keep, have some fun. That's what brings us together, so we can actually do. But let us go through this and then come back to the council. But please, any ideas or anything. The only thing I would add on this one, Zach, is the presentation is on a particular location. I think when we decide we want to do it, I think it needs to be open to everybody on Main Street.
Oh, agreed.
All
I think
businesses on Main Street.
Yeah, and I think that was the idea. It was more like, obviously, if we were going to do some sort of, lack of a word, concert type thing, obviously that would be more centralized. But I think, we saw with the homecoming parade that we did, all businesses along Main Street benefited, and I think that's really where we need to focus.
And it's not on here, but I know I had a conversation with him. One of the other ideas that he had is that maybe we would do like pockets of entertainment.
Yeah.
So we would actually have maybe work with the South Texas Hardware. Maybe that parking lot would actually have one type of entertainment, and then a little bit further down we would have another. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we'd have different pockets going on. So depending on what you wanted to do, you have the flexibility.
Different type of music,
Yeah.
rock,
Zach, our motorcycle show, they're always great.
Yeah.
That brings people from all over.
Yeah.
And this is 75 years, so we can maybe go out for cars from the 50s.
Yeah.
It can be a combination of different
From around the
places.
state might bring in cars from the 50s.
For sure.
You know, 702, Tom back there, I mean, they've done a great job with vehicles and motorcycles and everything, bringing people together.
Yeah.
So we just need to bring everybody together.
Yep.
Be able to do, but there's a lot of great. But please, if you have anything or you read something and you thought that was pretty neat, that maybe somewhere else in a community and it worked out really good, please get it to Zach so we can actually include it as part of the plan as we work with, work with everybody to make sure that we incorporate that.
Is it a 1-day, 2-day event?
I mean, we could do anything really. I mean, I know Music Fest we normally do, I would say 1.5, right? You know, we do evening of Friday and the Saturday, and even Saturday we've moved back. You know, some. So
Council will decide. My input is if we're going to do something on Main, it's probably better just to do it on one
night,
day, one evening or something. Just because you can only imagine, you know, it's gonna impede.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot, so we're going to need to get help from law enforcement and make sure that we kind of look at everything. So it should be a big celebration, but at the same time, you know, try not to make it over complicated that goes along.
Definitely. Yeah.
So,
well, it just helps with traffic and control of things too. So.
getting permission. Remember, our main thoroughfare is under Tech Stop, so we would have to talk to Tech Stop too with anything that we're actually doing out there. So it could be a combination of different things. And they try to figure that out. Okay. All right, Council, thank you so much. Once again, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, write it down on a piece of paper, and call Zach the next morning like I do. He gets plenty of feedback in the morning. You know, try to get some of that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 7. And let's go ahead and do... Oh, let me go back to E. And just because it said possible action concern, we're not taking any kind of action on that one, okay? Just to make sure. Number 7, we're going to go ahead and do executive session. The City Council, City of Lytle may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorneys, Section 551.072, real property, Section 551.074, personal matters, and 551.087, economic development negotiations, to discuss and consider the following items. A, possible purchase of properties within the City of Lytle. B, employment, evaluation, and reassignment duties, discipline, and dismissal of a public officer or employee, finance director. C, discussion concerning project ART. And D, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, city administrator. Paula, if you can actually show us, it is 7:18, and we are going into executive session. Council, if you can join us in the back. Austin, you can join us in the back. Appreciate that. And then the interested parties, as we get into the section, will come back and ask you to join us in the back. Thank you. All right.
I'm trying to. It's okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
You want some water?
Okay.
On the big printer?